Greetings, Stars fans, and welcome to the Two Brothers Mic'd Up show. If you didn't know, what we'll do is we'll discuss the recent Dallas Stars game, discuss it right here for you on YouTube. We give our thoughts and discussions and predictions for scores, so always stick around to the very end. As we start off each video, we go to those predictions from the last video. Since Quinn wasn't here, I gave my predictions. I liked a score of 3-1 for Dallas and a score of 3-2 for Nashville. I thought it was going to be a lot closer game, but I think the score of this game would indicate that it was kind of a blowout. But in reality, the game was a lot closer than it really was. The Stars coming on top 5-2. Now, right off the jump, now, I know you haven't read anything on the article that has come out, but Nichushkin has been in the news a bit about a recent interview that he did. Oh, you did read it?
Yes.
Okay. And I think we're gonna dedicate the beginning of the episode to that because it's got a lot of hot sports opinions in there. So, going in, a big question that kind of stood out to me from the jump was, Nichushkin's been on this team for three seasons now. At the end of this one, it'll be the end of his third season. But he missed
more like two.
But
a quarter.
But he missed playing time, but he was still with the guys and stuff like that last season. And one of the questions that was asked, now, again, we don't know if this interview is 100% true, so you kind of have to take it with a grain of salt. But if there is some kind of truth to it, it still warrants some kind of debate. He was asked, "Is there someone on the Dallas Stars you are talking closer with than others?" And he says, "I wouldn't say I'm very close to anyone in particular." He kind of just all talks to everybody in particular, or he talks to everyone kind of the same. Now, do you find that like a bit concerning? Do you think it's because he has that language barrier? But I know he's been working on his English, but you would think that in the 3 seasons that he's been here, maybe he would have bonded with someone.
Yeah, I think the major bond that he had when he first got here was definitely with Gonchar whenever he was with us.
Because they both share from Russia.
Yeah, so I know they spend a lot of time together talking and working on English and working on how to be a hockey player in Dallas. And I think since Gonchar left, he doesn't really have that many people he can go to help. And with language barriers and stuff, other than translators. But you would think with him being a young guy, he would kind of mesh well with the young group that we have here. Most of our big star players are in their early 20s, late 20s, and I do kind of think it is a little concerning, but not to make a big fuss about.
Yeah. But then he goes into some of the other questions, if they bring up whenever Jágr was first here, and then he moves on to Boston, and then he sees Nichushkin, and Jágr states that Nichushkin could be a top player in the NHL, a very well a top 3 player in the NHL, a la Sidney Crosby, Alex Ovechkin, Valeri Nichushkin. Now, he was asked is it upsetting that it's taking a little longer and everything like that, and he says, "I don't know what I did to Lindy. I'm not giving any time on the ice. As soon as I play, I have points. Doesn't matter what line I'm on. The line isn't playing all season long. Every game I have second shift by the 10th minute. I don't know what else to do. Nobody will get points like this. Can't advance either. I'm not worried about points now. I'm losing confidence. I practiced so much last season. I will never forget it. I want to play, but end up sitting more." Now, and whenever he was first drafted, there was a lot of talk saying that he didn't want to go down and play in the minors because he had the opportunity to go play in the KHL. You know, it's in Russia. He's from Russia, and that's their version of the NHL. So he has the opportunity to play professional sports at the highest level in Europe, I'm guessing. But then over here, we like treating our stars, especially the Euros, we like putting them down in like the minor system for 1 or 2 seasons just to get them like acclimated to the game and stuff like that. And it just seems like he's not catching the point of North American hockey. You know, the rink is smaller. That means the game's faster. It's more physical over here. You don't see a lot of the big hits that you do over here. You know, North American market is built on physicality with speed as well. You know, speed is usually the main factor, but you got to be able to lay the body down. And it just seems like whenever you watch Nichushkin play, he has speed and he has the physicality, but do you think he has it together?
I honestly 100% think that him going straight into the NHL was a mistake. You know, granted, Nichushkin is a top prospect. He's like probably the best top prospect we've had in a long time, a la Klingberg. But, you know, even Klingberg spent time in the AHL. You know, a lot of it is not really, you know, we don't think you're good enough to play in the NHL. It's like you said, it's to get acclimated to how it's played in North America, because there is differences, as you've stated. I think with Nichushkin, the fact that it was either Russia or the NHL, I think Dallas kind of put a lot of confidence into him. He had an okay first season. He had a pretty good first season.
That's the thing about it, is that, you know, he had an okay season and then he got hurt real bad in his second season, and
the funny thing is, during that second season after he came back, you know, he still had good games. Like, he was still producing. And then come this season, it's like he's like 100% reverted backwards. It's like he hasn't taken any steps forward. Now, okay, you can blame it on him playing on the fourth line and third line, but I mean, then you get players like Richie, McKenzie, Foxa. They've all played on third lines, fourth lines, and even though they may not have as many points as him, they're doing more in the works of team play. You know, Nichushkin is a scorer. He's a point getter for us. But when that's not happening for him, what else is there to his game?
Yeah, the thing about it is whenever you watch Nichushkin play, you know, he has that one move where he likes going around the corner and then likes to barrel in on the net, but he just can't cash in on it. But a lot of the other times when he's skating through the neutral zone, when he's trying to get it out of our zone, one little bump and he gets knocked off the puck. Like, from all the reports that you read about this kid, is that this kid is like probably the most athletic kid on the Dallas Stars. Like, a lot of players and a lot of reporters will go out and say this might be the best athlete on the Dallas Stars. Might not have the best skills when it comes to the NHL game, but they say like this kid is, you know, underrated with how strong he is, with, you know, how fast he can be. But then you go and you look at his game, where is it? Like, you see those bright little sparks that he'll have, like that him coming down the boards and just putting that shot on the New York game. Whenever all he did was a simple little snapshot. Wasn't even a full slap shot. It was just a little snapshot that gets it on net and he scores. But then nothing has come out of that. You would think a goal like that would boost confidence, and it's not for the lack of him trying, but it does seem like he tries whenever the opportunity is right there, right then and there. But then a lot of the try doesn't really go into his defense. A lot of the try doesn't really go with executing a zone clears and everything like that.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I'll be the first one to tell you, like, Nichushkin, his speed, his size, his shot, grade A. Grade S even, you know? He is a top scorer. But then you look at the other players that he wants to be, you know, the Sidney Crosbys, the Ovechkins, the Jamie Benns. What they have that he lacks is the determination and grit to never stop fighting. You know, he will throw his body around sometimes, but after that, it's like, I mean, I don't want to say he's not trying, but I think he knows that he's only out there to put minutes out there. He doesn't feel like he's out there to go out there and win games for the Dallas Stars, as he states in his interview.
Yeah, the another question that he got asked is like, you once said there was a moment when you were mad with everything. And he responds like, this is the last resort. I would never do that. I would never just give up. I'm trying to prove myself, keep trying. You keep doing that for weeks, but then he talks about how Lindy Ruff has more trust in the AHL call-ups, your Richies, your Foxas, your Johns. Well, I mean, I guess Johns isn't really in the same category, but Lindy Ruff is having more confidence in those. But okay, this article comes out like the day before the Nashville game. It's like right after the San Jose game, and you sit there and you talk about this article, and then what did you see from him in this game? You know damn well that someone has said something like, "Ooh, this interview got out." What did he prove anything in this game? You would think that he would want to go out and prove something in this game, but where was it?
Yeah, I agree. Like, he may talk like he's being underachieved and underappreciated on the team, but I mean, from my personal opinion, I think it's 100% agreeable that he is not getting the minutes that he thinks he should be getting, because he's not showing it out on the ice. Foxa, you know, he started on the fourth line, started in the AHL, moved up,
busted his ass
playing with the fourth line, and now he's become the regular third line center, starting the game face-off, getting face-offs the last minute of the game, because, you know, he's worked hard enough to show the trust.
You're seeing improvement in his game, and you're seeing when Richie comes in, that guy has 110% energy the whole time. Like this little Nichushkin, little whamby-pamby stuff that he gives out on the ice, it's not translating to him saying that he would just never give up. And I'm not saying that he is giving up, but you would think that he would go out there and apply himself 110%, 120%, 130% of the time when he's out on the ice. So what? You're only getting 10 minutes. You have people down in the AHL that would crave for just 2 minutes, and they would give you 200% of their energy. Why not go out with that 10 minutes, set the world on fire, you know? Like, don't bitch and complain that you're only getting 10 minutes. You're still a professional athlete. You're still getting paid a ton of money. Go out there and show it.
And you're only in your second full season, you know? You're still a rookie. You're not a veteran. You're not a pro. You're not elite level yet. You're still a rookie in the eyes of the Dallas Stars. Like, this is what rookies go through. They have to prove themselves.
Yeah, the last thing that I want to touch on is that he was asked, is there a chance you won't stay in Dallas? Will you consider return to the KHL? He says, I might. Dallas has the right to keep me until the last moment. If that happens, maybe I'll just go and play in the KHL. Again, coach constantly showing me that he doesn't trust me. I'm tired of hitting my head against the wall. Look, again, this isn't 100% confirmed that the article is true. But if there's any kind of, you know, truth to this, bye. Like, we don't need you. We've shown that everybody else is playing their heart out. We don't need you because you're not contributing. And you know what? We'll move on to...
Well, yeah, and last thing I want to say about it is, you know, I read an article about would Yakupov from the Oilers and a Nichushkin from the Dallas Stars trade be, an even 1-for-1 trade? And as of right now, what I've seen out of Yakupov, he's 2 years older than him. He's not quite still at that pro level yet, but I think Yakupov brings more to our team than Nichushkin. I would be 100% okay with that trade.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems like Nichushkin needs a change of scenery. It just seems like this is an 18-year-old kid that was promised the world over in Russia and saying that he was the shit. He gets drafted like 10th overall, and it's like, okay, you're an 18-year-old and you now play in the NHL. And they were saying you could be one of the greatest players in the NHL, but then not really putting in the effort on the ice. He might be doing it off the ice in practice and everything like that, but it's not translating to his game. But if he has any kind of inclinations that he just wants to leave, then leave. Get traded, do something. Like, I think I've said this plenty of times that I just don't... I'm kind of fed up with Nichushkin, but again, it is only his second season, so we'll just have to see where it goes. Let's go down the goal scorers of the Nashville game. We got Ryan Ellis, shorthanded. 13th shorthanded of the season that Dallas has given up. They now lead the NHL in that. Jamie Benn, Radek Faksa, Jason Spezza, Ardverson, Patrick Sharp, and Jamie Benn to round out the game. Start of the game, what'd you think?
Fast-paced, hard hits. It's kind of like the same way that a lot of the Stars games have been starting out lately. They've showed pace, and it's a good sign to see.
Yeah, I liked the intensity. It seems like the Stars are trying to keep that up. I mean, it definitely followed from the San Jose game into this. You could see that Nashville, losing against Colorado, it seemed like they wanted to keep up that intensity. They wanted to bring it to Dallas too, because they're on a back-to-back. So I think an easy way to get your legs under you is to bring some kind of physicality to the team. Under 7 minutes into the period, we have Klingberg trying to just do a pass up to Nichushkin on the power play, and Ryan Ellis comes in, cranks a slap shot on Kari Lehtonen. Let's be serious. Kari Lehtonen should have stopped it. He should have. That's not a goal that you give up. But then again, that's not a pass that an elite defenseman should be making.
There's a lot of factors and also Ryan Ellis, he has an almost Shea Weber-like shot,
I realize that.
It's a good shot, but, yeah.
But that's a goal that shouldn't be happening. But the main problem that I have with that goal is that Klingberg, he's wanting to change, all right? And so dumps the puck up over to Nichushkin, gets picked off. After the puck is left Klingberg's stick, he starts skating to the net, realizes it gets picked off, and then busts his ass to come back to try to contest Ellis. But he doesn't. He holds up about 2 strides before he even gets to Ellis and just lets him bomb that shot. Why take 80%? Why not give that 100% to him? Don't hold up at 80%. You go back and you watch that replay on DallasStars.com. He literally holds up 2 strides before he even gets to Ellis. You made that bed, now lay in it. Make up for it. I don't care if your face has to get in front of that shot. Do something to where that doesn't go in.
Yeah, I hate the idea of when something bad happens, you think you're gonna make the difference, and then you're like, oh wait, I'll let the goalie handle it. Why even give the goalie the decision to have to stop it? Granted that is his job, but any help you give him is always good help. Like, stick your stick out, dive, take a penalty. A penalty is always better than a goal against.
Absolutely, and the way the Stars have been with their penalty kill, you would think that would be a viable answer. Like, don't just let him have a clear-cut shot to your goalie. leave any kind of feedback down below if you disagree with Klingberg and what I am assessing with Klingberg. But I think he just watched Ellis just completely. Yeah, he stuck his stick out like a blind man trying to find the street, but come on, like, give that extra 20% and do something about it. Whenever that goal got scored, did you start to feel the game kind of swaying more to Nashville? Yes, a goal is always momentum, but it kind of felt like that game was going the other way if it had not been for Jamie Benn's goal.
Yeah, I mean, you always get that feeling, especially like with how the Stars used to be playing. Like when they were in their slump, they get the first goal scored on them. That's the call of the game. But I mean, I think lately they've been showing a better determination and grit to stay in the game, and they get a lucky break with Jamie's breakaway, and I think that really helps sway the game back to neutral.
Yeah, I think the Stars needed Jamie Benn to score on that just so much. I think if Jamie Benn doesn't score right there and the Predators leave the first period and go into the second with a lead, I think it's a completely different game. I think the Stars will wind up getting in their head and they'll wind up overplaying and overthinking a lot of things like they've been victim to a lot in this season. But Jamie getting that equalizer, I think, helped cut that momentum and then start to bring it back to Dallas's side. But overall, like that whole first period and into the second period, the game kind of felt kind of bland. A lot of bad passing. The power play definitely didn't look as good as it's been.
I think the only thing that really looked good in this whole game was the physicality that the Stars brought.
Yeah, and absolutely. But the Nashville was still bringing it to them. They out-hit Dallas 27-16. But the thing is that with that physicality going, Dallas just didn't stop. They had what stands out to me is the takeaways. It's 9-2. Dallas didn't give up on anything. Earlier in the season, this might have been a game that gets away from them, but they're starting to find that momentum. They're starting to find that playoff mentality that seems to be coming into their game. The Stars also, they had always, in the past couple of games, they had not been on the wrong end of special teams. They've usually won the special teams, but in this game they lose it. They go 0 for 4 on the power play, and they get a shorthanded goal scored against them and a power play goal scored against them. So that's not so great. But what I liked, again, we talked about Fox earlier in the episode. He looked good again. Roussel takes the puck, low shot, gets a rebound. Those are the kinds of shots, if you have someone breaking with you on a 2-on-1, if they don't just keep skating and they go straight to the front of the net, that should happen, 7 times out of 10? If you keep those shots low, or if you're going to beat a goalie, at least hit the goalie. At least hit the goalie. At least
make the save.
Yeah, at least Roussel didn't miss the net, didn't waste that opportunity. It was nice seeing that he picked the right choice to let Faksa go in and score. That's what I like seeing. That's playoff type hockey. Spezza, they get another 2-on-1 off of another top pair defenseman just doing a casual little pass that gets picked off and comes in for a breakaway. They're lucky that they got a little puck luck with Kari on his little end of his stick, and it goes the other way with Jason Spezza. Does a sweet dangle, gets his 30th goal of the season. Dallas Stars now the only team with 3 30-goal scorers in the NHL. Spezza continues to be hot. 9th goal in the season. I think he's really starting to, not that he didn't really know his groove or his place, but I think he's really, really starting to find that groove on this team. Then they take a penalty, and Arvidsson scores. But what I want to talk about is that Shea Weber hit on Foxa, and then Roussel comes over, that big hit that Shea Weber did, and then Roussel comes over and like cross checks him in the back.
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure Weber. Pretty sure Weber.
I mean,
missed.
Like Weber got the embellishment penalty. I mean, he was kind of like on his knees, like off balance. Okay, fine, take both of them. But what I don't agree with is Foxa got hit or missed. Weber missed him. Okay, the guy took a chance to hit him a clean hit if it was going to be a hit. And then Roussel just goes over there and just cross-checks him in the back. Like, it seems like Roussel is trying to make up for all those past weeks of not being physical enough, not really being the pest that he has been, and he's trying to cram it all into these last 6 games of the season that it's now, granted it didn't hurt us, technically, but it could. Like, whenever he was taking penalties in San Jose, you know, he got a fighting major, which took another player off, but then he does that stupid slash at the beginning of the San Jose game, and then he does this stupid cross-check in the back of Shea Weber. Like, I understand you want to play, you know, tough and on the edge, but that's too far over the edge. You have one spectrum of that, but then you go to the other spectrum and you get the Jamie Benn penalty. Pushes Neal on his hip, and Neal falls down, I guess, trying to draw a call, because that's the reputation that Neal has. And the officials call it holding. Never did Jamie Benn close his hand on any part. I can understand if he grabbed his pants and like pulled or something like that. All he did was push. You go back to last game, you had the Stephen Johns elbowing penalty. How many times are we going to have to sit here and say the officiating has been terrible? The officiating in this game was bad. A lot of stuff getting uncalled, and a lot of stuff that's getting called had no reason to be called. I understand the too many men on the ice penalty. I understand in the last game with the delay of game, shooting the puck over the glass, but the Stephen Johns penalty last game and then the Jamie Benn penalty in this game made no sense whatsoever. I honestly hope that this isn't the officiating staff that's going into the playoffs, because in the playoffs, these types of calls can be a, you know, series clinching moment. That late into a game and you make that kind of call, granted, I think a lot of the whistles will probably be put away in the playoffs because they tend to, and they like to call games a little more tightly in the regular season because they don't want to outcome. They don't want to make the officials don't want to become the outcome of the game. In the playoffs, you want the teams to play, but right now, it seems like the officials want to be a part of the outcome in the game. You had in the the last 10 minutes of the game, how did you see the Stars playing?
Running around like chickens with their heads cut off. Like, just seemed like they were praying and holding on for dear life.
Yeah, a lot of chances that Nashville hit posts. They had to have hit like 4 posts in that last 10 minutes. But then you get bailed out by Patrick Sharp and Jamie Benn. It's good seeing Sharp back on the goal sheet, as I've said. Jamie Benn creeping closer to 40 goals. He's never hit 40, and we haven't had a 40-goal scorer since Mike Modano in, like, forever.
93 and 94.
Yeah, it's like the very first season of the Dallas Stars, but it's nice seeing Jamie continuing that strive to be better each season, and it's really showing in his game. Last thought on then with that win, you know, the Stars break 100 points for the first time since 06-07, and those 2 empty net goals, we now have the single season record for most empty net goals in a season. So that's commendable, and that just goes to show you how dominant this team can be because teams are having to pull their goalies against our team. Thoughts on Kari?
I thought he played a pretty solid game. I mean, he had a hiccup on the first goal. I mean, you can kind of blame him on the second goal, but I mean, it all depends on if he saw. Did he see the puck? When did he see the puck? Because it's a cross-ice pass through people. He's trying to see everything. He's trying to see a million things. So, I mean, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt on that one. But I think he's starting to prove that he may be the goalie that they go with to start the playoffs off.
Yeah, I think I thought he played pretty well. Wasn't an expert game, but it was a really good game. It was without him, I think the Stars lose. But he played good. Played good, and he should build off of that going into the next game that he plays. And another thing, honorable mention, the Patrick Eaves fight. Pretty good. Not the best fight, but it's in contention for the best fight. The Dallas Stars haven't fought a lot, but I still think the Jamie Oleksiak fight, whenever he cut open that one dude's head, still the best one. But I think that has to be top 2, top 3 fight of the season. Let's go into the ratings of this one.
I gave it a B plus. They played hard, but there was a lot of little mistakes that could have been costly. Some of them were costly, but I mean, this game could have easily been won by the Predators, so that's why they get the B plus.
I also gave it a B plus. In the after the game, Ruff in his press conference saying that he thought the game wasn't the best that they could, but then sometimes you have to play like this and get a win. I mean, sometimes it happens like that in a season. Ruff knows it wasn't his best game. They did give up some things, and one bit them in the ass, but it was still a good effort. You need these types of games.
Sometimes winning a terrible game gives you the confidence to win a big game.
Exactly. Let's go into the predictions for the next game. Dallas in Game 78 against the Arizona Coyotes, which we have not beaten in the season. What kind of scores do you have for that?
I hope they. I kind of hope that they ride Lettinen in it. I wouldn't be surprised if Miami came in, but the Stars just gotta bring the grit that they played. Because it seems like they play good teams, and then, the lesser team comes in. Not saying Arizona's not a lesser team, because they're still in contention for playoffs. But it just, I don't know what it is. Like, they say, yeah, we know what they can do, but then they don't come out and show it. They let them take over the game. So I'll say if Dallas wins, it'll be, we'll say 4-3. And if Arizona wins, I'll say it's 3-0.
Yeah, I think the Stars say that this is a team that they kind of pay attention to, that they're not being surprised by this team, but every game they've played against them, it seems like they're surprised. So with that, if they actually put some game plan into this game, they should come out. They apply the intensity, the physicality that they have in the past 2 games. I think they come on top. I like a score of, I'm going to say 5-1 for Dallas, and then I like a score of 4-2 for the Coyotes. And with that, that's the discussion. Be sure to subscribe, like the video down below, leave any kind of feedback. Remember, this is a show for fans, by fans, and as always, tune in next time.